After the return of spiritual energy, the world entered a brand new era of awakened powers. Unfortunately, most people can only unlock one skill in their lifetime, with a ceiling that's painfully low. But Lin Xiao was built different. He got a bugged-out system that gave him a new skill every single day, plus bonus ones that stack and level up endlessly. That day, feeling good, he headed home to enjoy a bottle of 1982 Lafite he'd scored for just $1.50 a night before. As he passed by a bunny girl's live stream booth, he casually peeked inside. He muttered, "Dang, streamers these days really dress like that in public?" Right on cue, his own rabbit ears popped out, totally uninvited, and were instantly caught on camera. The chat went wild. "Yo, is that a real bunny morph?" The bunny girl noticed the spike in views and switched into content farming mode. Grinning at the camera, she said, "Seriously? That's your beast form? 1 minute, guys. I'll take him down. Don't forget to drop those gifts." The moment she finished talking, she launched a skill and slammed Lin Xiao to the ground. Still dazed on the floor, Lin could only think one thing. Why am I always the unlucky one? And then, bam, a truck came out of nowhere and hit him head-on, sending him flying. The driver's door creaked open, and a jacked-up man stepped out like it was just another Tuesday. Without saying a word, the guy unleashed a full-on rage combo, his fists moving like cheat codes. In this world ruled by awakened power, fists made the law, and the weak were just cannon fodder. Lin Xiao lay there, stunned. Why does it always have to be me? He'd grown up in an orphanage, mocked and sidelined just because he was a beastified rabbit. So this is the rule of the new era? In a forest full of monsters, rabbits are born to be eaten. Is this really how I go out? No, I don't accept this. I want power. Just as his mind began to fade, a deep voice echoed in his ear. "Found you at last, host." Just then, a cold robotic voice chimed in. "System 9527 online. Ready to serve, dear host." Half conscious, Lin muttered, 9527? Sounds like a shipping code. The system snapped. "Your whole family's a shipping code. It's 9527. Remember that." All right, 9527. So, am I alive again? Didn't that truck guy just one-shot me? You're the only compatible host I've found in millions of years. I used 34.99 million years worth of energy to rewind time 3.7 seconds and save you. Lin's eyes lit up as a glowing panel of buttons appeared in front of him. Whoa, are all these skills mine? The system crushed his hopes instantly. Dream on. Reviving you burned everything I had. You get one skill, randomly drawn. Lin lost it. You couldn't show up 2 minutes earlier? I could have picked my own skills. X-ray vision, fertility boost, teleportation. Then he paused, horrified. Wait, you're sending me back to the exact second I got hit. If I pull a trash skill, I'm just dying again. System prompt. Would you like to awaken your skill now? Lin gritted his teeth. Whatever. I just cheated death. I'm not wasting this. Awaken it. Ding. Skill draw complete. Congratulations. You've acquired an SSS tier skill. Skill amplification. A harsh cough snapped him back to reality. He was awake. The truck driver's jaw dropped. That whole combo didn't take him down. In an instant, Lin launched a rabbit kick boost, his legs surging with explosive power. He flipped through the air and landed squarely on top of the truck. The driver's face twisted in rage. You punk. You just stepped on my baby. You got a death wish. As he wound up for another skill, Lin countered with a meteor drop kick, blasting him into the air. The bunny girl stumbled backward, stunned. Holy crap, that bunny can actually fight? Hearing her call out to him, Lin excitedly activated Iron Claw Blitz effect, supercharged grip strength and lightning fast hands. In just 2 swipes, the bunny girl's outfit was shredded like tissue paper. Lin blinked and shrugged. Fainted already? Geez, I was just trying to cover you up. You're practically breaking public decency laws. The live stream chat exploded. Get your filthy paws off her, you furry freak. Let me be Bunny Bro's hands. Lin grinned and fired back. I'll say it once. Daily drops. Follow if you know what's good. The next morning, Lin Xiao walked into school full of excitement. He didn't even make it through the door before hearing classmates buzzing about yesterday. That bunny freak who kicked the truck guy and tore that girl's clothes? He's on the front page. The entire class swarmed him. Was that really you, bunny boy? You're totally viral now. Your muscles are killing me. Even the two school bullies who used to mess with him bowed an apology. We're sorry, bunny boss. We'll never cross you again. It finally hit Lin. Everything that happened was thanks to the system's skills. Realizing he hadn't drawn his new skill yet today, he quickly called out in his mind. Hey system, where's my daily spin? Ding! Today's skill unlocked. Seed the world. Wait, what? Seed the world. That sounds epic. Am I finally about to travel the globe, planting flags, and collecting hotties? Lin excitedly tapped the skill panel like crazy, but nothing happened. The system replied flatly, the skill has been auto-installed. Spamming won't help. Seed the world means you now fully master all agricultural techniques. Every seed you plant is guaranteed to grow. Bro, seriously? That kind of seed? You could have just called it Farming Pro or something. Why name it like some adult sim? While basking in his classmates' admiration, one guy in the back piped up sarcastically. Hey, bunny boy, I heard you used to deliver food. Wanting to hook you up with a high-paying gig. Lin narrowed his eyes. This guy always messed with him. Suddenly being nice? Yeah, right? The dude grinned slyly. There's a certain club hiring staff. With your face, you'd be perfect. You know what they say. Lin's face froze. Wait, did this guy just try to recruit me to a gay bar? He rolled his eyes and shot back. Wow, you seem to know a lot. Must be a regular. Huh? Respect, man. Lin didn't even realize he was being mocked. He instinctively replied, well, of course I. Mid-sentence, his brain caught up. He panicked and corrected himself. Wait, no. I mean, I've never been to a place like that. Lin dragged his tone out on purpose. Come on now. I know, we all know, that's not something you say out loud. Linan turned bright red. I'm not. That's not true. You're making stuff up. His spiritual energy flared up, fists clenched, ready to throw a tantrum. Right then, the homeroom teacher walked in and snapped. Raise a hand in my class, and you'll be raising a demerit slip next. As expected, the teacher's aura was the ultimate buzzkill. Linan immediately backed down. The teacher rapped the desk and said, 2 announcements. First, next week is the city's 3rd mock exam. Study hard. Second, all awakened students will be part of a special combat assessment. There will be high-level observers. Your chance at Spirit Martial University depends on it. After the return of spiritual energy, Blue Star established Spirit Martial University to train gifted awakeners. But with limited resources, the selection process is brutal. For many, getting in is the only real shot at success. The teacher's gaze scanned the room, then locked on Lin Xiao. As for you, Lin Xiao, you might as well skip the test. With your talent, you'll just embarrass the school. A ripple of snickers filled the room. Someone even made a fake crying noise. Ah, Bunny Boy's feelings got hurt. Lin clenched his fists. He used to be a weak, low-tier bunny type with trash-tier stats, but now he had a system. Maybe, just maybe, he could get into Spirit Martial University too. He stood tall and said, if I rank top 10 in the city exam, will you let me take the special test? The homeroom teacher stared at him for a few seconds. Fine. Deal. Let your grades do the talking. That look screamed. You serious, bro? The moment the bell rang, Lin bolted out the classroom at 20 meters per second. Power-ups were one thing, but tuition was another. Even if his part-time job barely paid, every coin counted. As he stepped out the gate, a Rolls-Royce screeched to a stylish stop right beside him. The door swung open, and a long-legged beauty stepped out, giving him a quick once-over. So, you're the bunny boy, huh? A nearby student's jaw dropped. Holy crap, that's Qin Jinjin, the goddess from Elite High. Lin frowned. Bunny boy? Come on, I tore a bunny girl's clothes on livestream. Give me some credit. Straightening his back, he said with a smirk, Bunny Lord, thank you very much. Or just call me handsome. That's when Lin noticed another girl standing next to Qin Jinjin with twin ponytails. Wait a sec, wasn't she the bunny girl from that livestream? She quietly handed back the jacket she'd thrown over him that day and whispered, "Can you, keep that whole thing a secret?" Lin stared at her, speechless. Girl, that stream went viral. What secrets left to keep? Turns out, after the wardrobe malfunction incident, Bunny Girl had confessed the whole thing to her BFF, Jinjin. Today, the two of them came to school just to see this bunny freak who could allegedly tear clothes barehanded. Chin gave Lin a once-over, unimpressed, and turned to leave like she'd seen enough. Lin panicked. "Hey, wait, leaving already? I haven't even gotten your contact yet. Want to go somewhere quiet, spar a little?" Chin paused, glanced over her shoulder with a smirk. "Spar? You're a bronze tier, asking to duel a silver? You've got guts, I'll give you that." She added, "But the gap's too wide. It wouldn't even be fun. Let's make it interesting. How about we compete in next week's city exam?" Lin's eyes lit up. "Now you're talking. But hey, what's the wager?" Jinjin smirked casually. "If I lose, you can do whatever you want with me." The moment Lin heard "whatever you want," his face turned crimson. It felt like steam was about to burst from his ears. Right when things were about to escalate, his phone buzzed with a notification. He glanced down. It was a pretty fast delivery alert. "I'm about to get beat up. Please help. Name your price." Lin didn't even read the full message. He just saw the part that said, "Name your price." He jumped on his beloved scooter and zoomed off, texting in the pretty fast delivery group chat. "Anyone near Phoenix Net Cafe watching vids without liking? Get over here now. $100 per head." By the time Lin arrived at the cafe, more than 20 yellow-vested delivery riders were already gathered outside, fired up and ready. Up ahead, a group of punk teens with neon-dyed hair had surrounded a chubby kid who was bawling his eyes out. The scar-faced leader sneered, "You fat liar, using a girl avatar and a voice changer to marry me? If I hadn't been sitting right next to you, I'd have been fooled for real. Think you can pay your way out of this? Not a chance. Time to learn why karma hits you right in the, well, you'll feel it." Lin Xiu swung a bat onto his shoulder, grinning. "Bullying comes with a price, you know." Scarface glanced at the crowd forming behind Lin and instantly panicked. "Retreat," he yelled, running with his gang in tow. The chubby kid instantly switched from crying to cocky. "That's right. Run. Next time I see you, my big bro's gonna mop the floor with you." He turned to Lin, eyes sparkling. "Bro, let's become sworn brothers right now." Lin pushed him away with a disgusted look. "Easy there, future blood brother. How about you settle the bill first?" Ding. Transaction received. 30,000 yen. Lin did some quick math. Called 70 guys, 100 each. That's yen 7000. Still left with 23,000 yen. Boom. College tuition. Handled. Staring at this unexpected cash cow little bro, Lin muttered to himself, "When fate drops a rich newbie on you, you take it. No shame in blessings." The kid scooted up again, grinning from ear to ear. "So, big bro, all right. You're with me now. Stick close and don't embarrass me." Lin waved the kid off and rode away on his little scooter, already dreaming about how to spend his unexpected fortune. Cut to the amnesiac pretty boy formerly known as Zhang San. Now, just Lin Xiu, slumped over his desk, dozing off in class. His thermos sat sadly beside him, the goji berry tea inside long gone cold. The man had the hormones of a teen and the soul of a middle-aged playboy. He'd pulled 7 all-nighters in a row just for a shot at quietly studying with Jinjin. Half asleep, a thought popped into his head. Wait, I haven't drawn today's skill yet. Of all times to remember. Right as I'm trying to nap? Seriously? Don't tell me the system's on my sleep schedule now. Is it napping too? System alert. Congratulations, host. You've acquired a new skill. Photographic memory. This skill allows you to remember everything you see. Perfect for exams, flexing your IQ, and showing off to your crush. Lin Xiu perked up. Now that sounds like a badass skill. He grabbed a random magazine off the desk, flipping through it at lightning speed. Damn, these legs? I could admire them for life. That waist? Worth a haiku. In under a minute, he'd scanned the entire thing. Target locked, memory loaded, too easy. With his skill, the next big exam's going to be a cakewalk. He grinned like a man with all the cheat codes. Just then, his literature teacher's voice blasted through the air like a nuke. What are you smirking at? We're in literature class, and you're gawking at magazines. Lin sighed dramatically. You're looking at a new man. Teach. I got photographic memory now. He shoved his textbook forward. Pick any page. Heck, I'll recite it backwards if you want. The teacher narrowed his eyes. Fine. Something easy. To ride with immortals in flight. What comes next? Lin scoffed. To embrace the moon and travel forever. The entire class froze in shock. This was the guy who couldn't scrape a double-digit score on any test. And now he's quoting ancient poetry like a boss? The teacher, still skeptical, pressed further. All right then. Without desire, one can observe its wonders. What's the next line? Lin Xiao smirked and replied, backwards. Its manifestations are only visible through constant desire. The teacher frowned. Wrong. That's not. A student suddenly shouted, wait. He said it backwards. The teacher's face turned pale. He nearly coughed up blood on the spot. 2 days flew by. The results for the big citywide exam were finally posted. When students saw Lin Xiao's name at the very top of the list, jaws dropped across the entire school. Man, life really is full of surprises. Like burrito wrapped in another burrito, level surprises. Staring at his score sheet, Lin grinned. With photographic memory, exams are basically side quests. Today also marked the start of the Awakened Combat Assessment. In the center of a gymnasium stood a massive arena, the battlefield for the showdown ahead. As the host hyped up the crowd, guests began entering the arena one by one. The energy was building fast. And now let's welcome the top scorer of the citywide exam, and a newly awakened ability user, Lin Xiao. The moment that was announced, Qin Jinjin scowled and kicked a nearby railing in frustration. Hearing the noise, Lin turned around and lit up. Yo, Jinjin, over here. With nowhere to hide, Qin stepped forward and muttered, all right, a bet's a bet. Whatever you want, just say it. Lin scratched his head sheepishly. Come on. I thought I did something to upset the great Miss Qin. That bet? Just a joke. But hey, maybe let me treat you to dinner. Qin's face flushed pink. She looked away and whispered, about what I said earlier, calling you weak, sorry. One glance at her blushing face, and Lin completely lost it. 2 thin streams of nosebleed ran down like twin waterfalls. Just then, the host walked up. Well, if it isn't our top 2 contenders together. So Lin, rumor has it your awakened power is beast morphing. A cute little bunny, no less. What are you hoping to achieve in today's ability test? Lin grinned confidently. First place, obviously. The host was so stunned by the answer, they forgot what they were going to say next. The crowd instantly erupted into ear-splitting boos. Lin didn't flinch. He snatched the mic from the host and declared, not much to say, really. Just this. I'm number 1, baby. Then he looked straight into the camera and threw a not-so-friendly gesture. Pray your favorite contestant doesn't run into me. The host, clearly stunned, forced a smile and continued, ahem. Moving on. The rules are simple. One-on-one elimination battles. Win, and you advance. Lose, and you're out. There are 257 students participating. Your match numbers will be sent to your phones. Since the number's odd, 1 contestant will be randomly selected for a first-round bye. The screen spun through numbers like a lottery, then landed on 66. The camera zoomed in on Lin Xiao, projecting his smug face onto the main display. Oh, come on. Him again. The students who were itching to smack him down groaned in disappointment. Led into the waiting lounge, Lin flopped into a chair and stretched out lazily. Free win? Don't mind if I do. Lin glanced up at the screen, just in time to see Qin Jinjin assigned to the very first match. The stadium instantly erupted in deafening cheers. Moments later, the host shouted, the winner of match 1, Silver Tier Awakener from Elite High, Qin Jinjin. Not only was she the top-seeded combatant, but she also looked like she stepped out of a fantasy novel. With her power and beauty combined, she had fans going wild. The entire arena was hyped. Lin stared at her dazzling figure and clenched his fist. I need to stick close to greatness. Wait, no. What I meant was become strong enough to stand beside her. Otherwise, that nosebleed earlier was totally wasted. He turned his eyes back to the arena. The matches were now in full swing, with flashy powers lighting up the ring like a special effects reel. Lin suddenly sat up. Screw this. I need the system to roll me something OP. Now. He opened the panel. Lights flashed, ding. New skill acquired. S rank, physical enhancement. Considering his recent pulls were all garbage, basic farming, beginner fertilizing, he'd basically been playing Farming Simulator IRL. Without hesitation, he slammed the learn button. His heart was pounding like a boss spawn timer. Ryup. Lin's shirt exploded off his body like paper caught in a storm. His muscles ballooned with terrifying speed, revealing a shredded 8-pack that looked carved from stone. He glanced at his new form and couldn't resist striking a ridiculously flashy pose. A nearby bunny girl cosplayer squealed in surprise. OMG, is that even legal? But then things got awkward. Without his shirt, something else had also powered up and was standing just a little too proud. The first round of matches wrapped up quickly. To everyone's disbelief, Lin kept getting picked for buys in every round, like Arangisus himself was on his side. When the host asked him for a comment again, Lin took the mic and sighed. So boring. My big blade has been thirsty for action. Around him, bruised and battered contestants clenched their teeth in fury. Just as the host was about to announce the next round, someone shouted, "Hold on a second." It was Li Nan, eyes burning with rage. Why does he keep getting free passes while we're out here bleeding for it? Li Nan raised his hand and shouted, "To keep things fair, I've volunteered to withdraw, so Lin Xiu can't get another free ride." The crowd erupted in thunderous applause. The matchups were posted, and Lin's opponent? Lei Jian, a Thunder Element Awakener from Elite High. Bronze tier, 8 stars. Not the highest level, but lightning types packed a punch, rivaling 9s. Lei Jian locked eyes with Lin and made a throat-slitting gesture. Lin sighed and shrugged. Wow, the hate is real, huh? As the battle officially began, Lei Jian barked. Your lucky streak ends here. I'll finish you in 10 seconds. Lin gave him a bored glance. Cool. Furious, Lei Jian charged up his attack with a roar. A bolt of lightning, thick as a thumb, cracked through the air, surging toward Lin like a vengeful spear. But Lin simply tilted his body to the side, dodging it with casual grace. The bolt missed, leaving behind a smoldering crater where it struck the stage. What how? Lei Dian's eyes widened in disbelief. His attack missed? Enraged, he unleashed his next combo, Quad Thunderburst, 4 rapid lightning strikes. Lin dodged every strike with effortless grace, weaving through the bolts like a ghost. Lei Jian, now furious and desperate, began charging his ultimate skill, Storm Surge. Lightning surged wildly across his body, power building like a tidal wave. Lin's eyes narrowed. Can't let that one go off. With an explosive stomp, Lin launched himself like a missile straight toward his opponent. His fist, big as a soup pot, slammed into Lei Dian's face with earth-shattering force. Boom! Lei Jian was sent flying like a rag doll, soaring out of the ring. He crashed onto the next stage with a loud thud, instantly knocked out cold. Silence blanketed the arena. The host blinked, stunned, before finally stammering into the mic. Lin Xiu wins. The arena was dead silent for a second. Then the entire place exploded with noise. Gasps, cheers, shouting from all directions. Yo! Did Lin Xiu just one punch a bronze 8-star? No way he's a rookie. He's got to be some S-tier pro in disguise. In the observation booth, the heads of top schools were all frozen mid-sip. Old Jiang, you blind or what? You promised he was mine. Don't even think about poaching. Jiang scoffed. One flashy match doesn't prove anything. Y'all too hasty. Principal Lu smirked coldly. I watched carefully. That punch? He didn't even use spiritual energy. Jiang sat up straight. What? That strike had the force of an 8-star awakener at minimum. His physical power is off the charts. The principal bench instantly switched from observer mode to full-blown recruitment war. Every eye now burned toward the boy whose fists could shatter mountains. The next day, matchups were posted. Lin Xiao's next opponent, Bronze 9-star, Werewolf-type Awakener, Shun Gue. Lin's heart skipped a beat. Just reading the guy's profile made his scalp tingle. The dude radiated pure menace. Meanwhile, Shun Gue frowned at the listing and began charging his energy on the spot, as if ready to end Lin in one brutal move. But just as Lin was getting ready to beastify and throw down, Shun Gue's knees buckled. Thud! He dropped to the ground and forfeited, clean and instant. The next match? A female Awakener stepped onto the stage and immediately conceded. Not even a dramatic line. Just poof, gone. The one after that turned out to be a Lin Xiao fangirl. She surrendered, handed over a notepad, and asked for an autograph. And just like that, Lin Xiao strolled straight into the quarterfinals without breaking a sweat. Qin Jinjin, who had been quietly trailing him the whole time, was utterly dumbfounded. During the lunch break, Lin lay on the lawn, sunbathing with a lazy grin while humming a painfully off-key tune. His tone-deaf warbling got so bad, it summoned the system. Hey, genius, in case you forgot, you haven't drawn your skill today. The system popped in mid-rant, ready to flame him, until it saw the new skill on the panel, Beer Rank, Gun Mastery. Lin rolled his eyes. Seriously? Who still uses firearms? Is this system running on Windows XP? As he continued roasting the skill, he suddenly sensed movement near his feet. Someone, or something, was creeping closer through the grass. Lin glanced up, and oh damn, here came Qin Jinjin, strolling over in a short summer skirt. His eyes locked onto her legs, and his brain immediately opened a private theater of very non-PG daydreams. Qin sat down across from him, looking serious. I'm planning a summer expedition to a bronze-tier spirit dungeon. Want to join the team? Lin's eyes lit up like slot machines. Spirit dungeons were loaded with treasure, spirit beasts with valuable parts, and maybe even awakening cores, super rare stuff for ability users. But most importantly, he'd get to go adventuring with the goddess. His mind instantly jumped to a fantasy scenario, saving her from danger, holding her in his arms, hearts colliding. Before he could say a word, Qin mistook his silence for hesitation. Don't worry, I've already put together a 6-person squad. It's totally safe. Lin's eyes misted over. She's perfect, absolutely perfect. I swear I almost just named our future kids. He nodded solemnly. I'm in. Though honestly, who needs teammates when I've got you? Qin smiled faintly, stood up, and said, I'll contact you later. Lin bolted upright and shouted after her, Wait, that's it. We could, find somewhere quieter and talk about life or whatever. Qin Jinjin gave him a small smile before leaving. You better prep for the finals. If we meet on the battlefield, I won't go easy on you. At last, the highly anticipated finals had arrived. Every single eye in the arena was locked on the 2 figures in the center of the ring. One was a silver tier, ice-type ability user, Qin Jinjin. The other, Lin Xiao, the dark horse who crushed every opponent with his bare fists and never once used spiritual power. Before the match began, Qin looked him straight in the eyes. You may be on my team, but that doesn't mean I'm handing over first place. This time I won't hold back. Lin smiled lazily. Honestly, I'm not that obsessed with winning, but I did talk big in that last interview, so now I kind of have to back it up. Bang! The referee's signal rang out. The battle had officially begun. Lin launched forward confidently, aiming straight for the first strike. But his punch hit nothing but air. Qin Jinjin had already read his move and sidestepped effortlessly, her movements graceful and precise. Just as Lin missed again, Qin spun gracefully and landed a clean roundhouse kick square on his back. If not for his physical enhancement skill, he probably would have flown off the stage. Gritting his teeth, Lin wiped the sweat from his brow and charged in a second time. Another miss. Instead, he got comboed. Kicks, jabs, you name it. It was getting real frustrating. Qin Jinjin's voice was calm, but sharp. You should surrender. Your body's freakishly strong, but your technique? Trash. You can't even land a hit. And by the way, I haven't even used my ice abilities yet. Lin knew she was right. If this kept up, he'd lose hard. But admitting defeat now? That was out of the question. He had a system. He was supposed to be special. Losing without even showing a single cool move? That'd be a total embarrassment. A blow to his manly pride. Then suddenly, ding, an idea sparked in his head. Lin suddenly raised his hand and shouted, "Time out. I request a pause." The referee looked completely baffled. It was ridiculous, but technically, there was no rule against it. So the match was temporarily halted. Lin jumped off the stage in a flash. He snatched a mop from a staff member and turned to the ref with a serious face. "Quick question. Are weapons allowed in the tournament?" The referee looked like he might choke on his whistle. "I've seen a lot in my day, but you might be the boldest idiot yet." On stage, Qin Jinjin stared in disbelief. "Mop, are you seriously mocking me?" But Lin was unfazed. He spun the mop with flair and declared, "This is no ordinary tool. Behold the mop lance. 1 pound, 2 ounces of pure chaos. Once wielded by janitorial legends." Qin had written him off as a clown until he swung it. In that instant, she felt a strange pressure, a flicker of tension in her chest. For some reason, she hesitated. Lin grinned. "No move? Guess it's my turn then." With a clean sweep, the mop struck directly, right on her butt. A sting shot up her spine, and her face flushed crimson. He did that on purpose. Lin raised both hands innocently. "It wasn't me. It was my muscle memory acting on its own. That did it." Qin Jinjin snapped. Her aura flared and she went full rage mode, unleashing a storm of furious attacks. But unbelievably, despite the relentless barrage, Lin deflected every hit with the mop, turning defense into offense and even landing a few smacks on her, but again. Finally, she stepped back, panting slightly. Her tone grew cold. "Physically, I admit you've got the edge. But now I get serious." The air dropped several degrees. A sharp, icy aura surged outward as her ice element power awakened in full force. Dozens of basic ice spells rained down like a magical carpet bombing. There was nowhere to hide. Lin yelped as he darted around. "Why are you spamming like it's free? Are you sure you're an ice user and not some kind of turret?" As if answering him, Qin stood her ground and calmly counted down. "Freeze." Then she turned casually to the host. "You should probably call an ambulance. Go ahead and declare me the winner." But before the host could speak, a figure emerged from the swirling dust, slowly and still standing. The arena floor trembled. Lin's bunny ears shot straight up, beast form complete. With his boosted jump, he rocketed into the center of the stage like a missile. Qin Jinjin's eyes flickered with surprise. She quickly summoned a layer of ice armor on her arms. But Lin's attacks came like a storm. The mop lance spun and struck with wild, relentless fury. Each hit smashed through her defenses. The ice shattered like glass. Slowly driven into a corner, Qin's calm cracked. "Am I really going to lose to this guy again?" That stubborn unwillingness sparked something deep within her. The spirit energy around the arena surged toward her like a tidal wave. In a flash, her aura exploded. Breakthrough achieved. Silver tier. Level 2. Lin's grin froze mid-smirk. He stared at her rising power, cursing in his head. "Okay, she's the real cheat code here." Without missing a beat, he raised his hand again. "Ref, I'd like to report illegal mods on the other player." The ref nearly face-planted. "You again? What is this talent show season? You Lin Xiao are literally the biggest hack in the tournament." Back on the stage, Qin Jinjin stood tall, newly ascended, power surging, and for the first time, a faint smile appeared on her lips. She knew Lin had a window to interrupt her breakthrough, but he didn't. Sure, he was annoying, childish, and totally unpredictable, but in that moment, he actually felt kind of reliable. "Huh, this rabbit isn't half bad. All right, enough clowning. Let's finish this properly." Lin scratched his head and grinned. "Bring it on. I swear, if things go south, I'm tapping out faster than a Ninja Turtle in rush hour. But you better watch out too. I'm not the same rabbit you saw 5 minutes ago." Before he even finished, Qin Jinjin fired off another barrage. ice spells raining from all directions. Her offense now cranked to max output. Lin quickly realized, beast form or not, her non-stop elemental harassment was seriously disrupting his rhythm. Physically, he was a beast, bronze 9-star strength, but his spirit energy level? Just bronze 3. Beast mode wasn't overly draining, but it wasn't free either. Qin, meanwhile, was spamming skills like a boss, clearly burning through more energy per move than he was. The problem? She was silver too. Her energy pool made us look like a kitty cup. Lin gritted his teeth. This is bad. I can't keep up like this. Guess it's all or nothing now. He stomped down hard, activating Enhanced Leap, and launched himself at Qin like a human missile. She was still mid-spam, hurling ice spells left and right, when suddenly Lin burst into her space. The ambush caught her totally off guard. He came in from behind and wrapped around her midair. The moment his arm pressed against her side, he felt something. Yup, definitely stormy seas. You perv. What the hell are you doing? Let go. Qin shrieked, her cheeks instantly burning red. That kind of contact? Of course she felt it. And now she was both mortified and furious. She kicked and flailed wildly, struggling midair. The two of them spiraled downward, locked in an awkward aerial tangle. They were falling fast, Qin on bottom, Lin clinging on like some kind of octopus. Her, but was about to take the full brunt of the landing. At the last second, Lin gritted his teeth, twisted with all his strength, and forcibly flipped their positions. Wham! He took the full impact square on his back. Qin face flushed even deeper. You're bleeding. Let go, idiot! She could tell. If Lin hadn't shielded her just now, she'd be the one lying hurt. Lin gritted his teeth, still clutching onto her. Listen, I still haven't used my ultimate move. You know what they say, corner a rabbit and it bites. One more second and I'll seriously sink my teeth in. Qin's eyes went wide. What are you, a kindergartner? Who threatens to bite in a real fight? But the scariest part was that she actually believed him. This guy? Yeah, he'd totally do it. With a sigh of defeat, she turned to the referee. I surrender. The moment the match was called, Lin's body finally gave out. He collapsed, completely unconscious. Time passed, he didn't know how long. A soft voice echoed near his ear, calling his name. He blinked, slowly opening his eyes. The first thing he saw, Qin, cheeks burning red, sitting beside him on the ground. Her clothes were slightly torn from the fight, and she was mumbling, You're so mean. Why'd you do that to me? Lin's heart twinged with guilt. He instinctively reached out to help her up. But when Qin saw the big fluffy rabbit paw reaching toward her, she instantly panicked and covered her chest. You pervy bunny. You're still trying to grope me? Lin blinked, then looked down and froze. Holy crap. He was still in beast form, a giant humanoid bunny. He jolted awake in embarrassment, only to find his hands had returned to normal. Part relieved, part disappointed. Ding. Congratulations, host. You've drawn an SSS grade skill. Enhancement. Based on your current beast form, the system has optimized your evolution path. Big white bunny evolved form. Thug bunny. Skill description. Never mess with a rabbit, especially one that knows street rules. Lin was speechless. Wait, everything earlier wasn't a dream. That nonsense was real. The system was behind it. The system replied smugly. Host was unconscious. To ensure you didn't miss your daily poll, I helpfully drew for you. You're welcome, Lin rolled his eyes. Honestly, skipping a poll wouldn't kill me. You've been handing me E-tier trash for days. Whatever. Since I'm awake, let me draw today's one myself before you help again. Ding. Congratulations. You've drawn an SS grade skill. Spatial awakening. Beast form detected. Perfect fusion condition achieved. Initiating skill integration. Lin was still buzzing over his new spatial skill when, bam, the fusion process had already begun. Wait, system, you seriously didn't think to ask me first? You're auto-merging my powers again. Ding. Fusion complete. Congratulations, host. Thug Bunny has evolved into Dora B Dream. Dora B Dream. What the hell kind of name is that? Lin nearly blacked out. He looked down, and yup, A pouch had appeared on his stomach. A literal, fuzzy storage pocket. Please tell me I'm not turning into some kind of off-brand anime mascot. The system chimed in. That pouch is an interdimensional storage space. Currently empty, but fully functional. You may now carry an unlimited number of items. Zero burden. Lin's eyes lit up. Whoa, just like the storage rings in cultivation novels. No weight limit. I take it back, this is amazing. And that wasn't all. Another new skill had been unlocked. Anywhere gate. Lin checked the description. Opens a temporary portal allowing instant teleportation to any location within 5 meters. Before he could finish reading, a flash of light burst out with a loud bang. He was yanked into space and immediately dropped flat on the ground. Dazed, rubbing his head, Lin tried to figure out where he'd landed, when suddenly a familiar voice shrieked. Lin Xiao? What are you doing here? Lin focused, and there stood Li Shui, gripping a dagger, staring at him in shock. He frantically waved his hands. Wait, it's not what it looks like. I didn't mean to appear here. It was the system, I swear. But Li Shui wasn't having it. She lunged and gave him the beatdown of a lifetime. No questions asked. The next day, Lin stumbled into the cafe, his head wrapped in bandages and clutching his swollen forehead, muttering, If Li Shui hadn't let me off in the end, I'd be in the ER right now, and I could forget about any date. But the moment he stepped inside, he saw Qin Jinjin surrounded by several people. Lin's face instantly darkened. Wait a sec. I thought this was a date. Why does it feel like a team meeting? Qin looked up at him and chuckled. Wow, you look worse than you did after the tournament. Who beat you up this time? Lin winced as the memory of Li Shui's combo replayed in his brain. He decided to play dumb and said nothing. Qin Jinjin stood and gestured to the group. I called you here today, so everyone could meet. We're going to be a team, after all. You've met Zhang San and Chengmin Zhang's our 8-star shadow support, and Cheng's a 9-star healer, our precious team nurse. This girl in red? She's our 9-star fire element DPS, basically our heavy hitter, Qin explained. The other 2 teammates couldn't make it today. They're still sorting out their university admissions. Then she turned to Lin with a casual tone. You've gotten your college acceptance letters by now, right? In the past, Lin would have been over the moon. But he was no longer the clueless rookie who just awakened his system. Qin suddenly asked, So, which school are you planning to attend? Lin looked at her face, bathed in soft pink cafe lighting, and his heart skipped a beat. Wait, is she asking because she's into me? Playing it cool. He smirked. Me? I'm leaning toward Magic City's Linwu University. Why, gonna miss me? Want to tag along? Qin rolled her eyes. Actually, yeah, I do want to go to the same university. I'm tired of losing to you. I want a fair chance to beat you, for real this time. Lin's heart was soaring. Bro, is this her way of confessing? I'll take it. Then her tone shifted. Our mission this time is to locate a spirit beast known as the Ice Fox. They travel in packs. If it were just a single silver tier Ice Fox, I could handle it alone. But according to the intel I've gathered, there are at least 2 silver-level beasts in the pack. We'll need to take them down as a team. Qin Jinjin explained seriously. She knew full well. None of them really needed the resources in this ruin. This trip was more about her own growth. The others had no objections, and of course, Lin wasn't about to say no. He mainly wanted to gain experience. Loot was just a bonus. They agreed to set off in 3 days. In the meantime, Lin went on a full-blown shopping spree, buying every gadget and supply he could think of. During one of his daily skill draws, the system chimed. Ding. Congratulations. You've unlocked a new skill, Culinary Mastery. Lin's eyes lit up. Cooking. Might sound basic, but it's the ultimate charm buff. Lately he'd been pulling nothing but E-tier junk, language fluency, basic first aid, origami. Finally, a skill that could actually be useful. He grabbed his overstuffed pack and shoved it into his belly pouch. Flash. In a blink, the massive bundle disappeared. No wait, no fuss. Lin stroked the pouch admiringly. Dude, this thing's better than premium inventory space in any MMORPG. Just as Lin was imagining all the tactical uses for his new powers, A loud honk snapped him back to reality. Inside the RV, Chungmin leaned in close like a curious cat, eyes sparkling. Whoa, that pouch on your belly, solid as steel. Come on, admit it, this is kind of hot, right? Qin Jinjin looked genuinely amazed. You awakened a spatial type ability? That's one of the rarest classes. If you can carry the gear for the team, it'll be a huge advantage. But before Lin could even respond, Chungmin blurted, "Can I touch it?" and immediately reached toward the pouch. The entire ride turned into a game of tag, with Chungmin constantly trying to sneak a poke, while Lin scrambled around the cabin, dodging like his dignity depended on it. At last, just before sunset, the RV arrived at the entrance to the spirit ruin. The group stepped out and fell silent. Before them stood a massive violet energy dome, rising like a force field into the sky. Lightning crackled along its edges, arcs of electricity dancing with a pulsing, arcane rhythm. No one truly knew where these spirit ruins came from, but all research pointed to one thing. They were deeply tied to the global reawakening of spiritual energy. Each ruin was home to a host of powerful spirit beasts, and its difficulty level was ranked according to the strongest beasts inside. Though spirit beasts occasionally appeared in human zones, they almost never ventured near cities, for reasons still unknown. That's why bronze and silver tier ruins weren't treated as top priority by the authorities, but they were still monitored, with official personnel assigned to register and watch them. In truth, these spirit ruins had become humanity's final buffer against the unknown. For Lin Xiao, setting foot inside a ruin for the first time, his mind swirled with excitement and curiosity. So, this is the place everyone's been talking about. What's really inside? As they drew closer to the towering energy gate at the forest's edge, he could feel it. The air grew thicker, heavier, laced with dense spiritual energy that made his skin tingle. Just as he spaced out, a soft pressure brushed his hand. Chungmin again. She grabbed his wrist and started dragging him back toward the RV, eyes still glinting with mischief, clearly not done trying to sneak a feel of that belly pouch. What Lin didn't notice was the group watching them from a distance. In the adventure world, anyone arriving in a tricked-out RV was basically wearing a "Rob Me" sign, and someone had already recognized their chubby, rich teammate. That shadowy group? The notorious Wolf Fong Squad, led by the ruthless Silver 5 warrior, Yang Hu. They were infamous for ambushes, robberies, and sabotage inside ruins, always striking hard, then vanishing before authorities could catch them. And despite their bloody reputation, no one had ever found concrete proof of their crimes. Even worse, they were smart, never targeting high-level ruins. Bronze zones were their hunting ground of choice. Low risk, high reward, easy prey. With Yang Hu leading the pack and 2 Silver 2 elites in tow, the Wolf Fong Squad were practically untouchable in ruins like this. The next morning, the team stepped into the spirit ruin, and it was like entering an entirely different world. The air was thick with spiritual energy, almost fog-like. Lin couldn't help but think, how do people even breathe outside anymore? No wonder the beasts refused to leave this place. Despite being labeled bronze tier, this ruin was massive. A vast grassland stretched before them, fading into dense forests that swallowed the horizon. Their target lay deeper, beyond the forest, in a frozen tundra, at least 2 days' travel away. As soon as they entered the woodland, Chungmin activated her sound-based radar skill, sending out rhythmic pulses like a bat, scanning for movement around them. Meanwhile, far off in the trees, the Wolf Fong Squad watched silently. The open terrain wasn't ideal. They preferred the cover of forest for their ambushes. For now, they waited. Along the way, the group encountered a few Bigfoot sheep, territorial beasts that fed on grass roots and attacked anything unfamiliar. But before they could charge, Zhuang Cheng and Lei Dian unleashed a combined fire and lightning blast, instantly barbecuing the flock and filling the air with the mouth-watering scent of roasted lamb. Lin Xiao stared at the charred remains and muttered, "Seriously? You two nuked the whole flock? The hides were worth money." Chungmin dug through the carcasses and found 2 barely usable spirit pearls. "Yeah, That was kind of a loss. Just as they were about to move on, a thunderous wolf howl ripped through the silence. Dozens of fang-toothed wolves surged from the shadows, blood-red eyes glowing, razor fangs bared. They quickly surrounded the group like a sea of predators. The team instantly snapped into combat mode. They knew these beasts. Once blood was spilled, the pack would go berserk. Lin's gaze locked onto the largest wolf at the back. So that's the alpha. But of course, it's not dumb enough to charge first. He smirked. Fine. If the king won't come to me, I'll go to the king. Then, in full theatrical flair, he struck a dramatic pose and slashed the air. Anywhere gate, open. A portal burst into view, and Lin vanished. A heartbeat later, he reappeared directly in front of the alpha. Before the beast could even react, Lin's alloy staff came down with a brutal crack. One clean hit, insta-kill. Silence. The wolves froze. Their alpha had just been one shot, gone in a blink. And just like that, without a single snarl more, the entire pack turned tail and bolted into the forest. Total panic. Wasting no time, Lin Xiao quickly skinned the alpha and stored the pelt in his dimensional pouch. Then he fished around the corpse, and bingo, a shimmering, golden spirit pearl. Wait, is this a skill-embedded one? Lin's eyes lit up. Skill, stealth? It's just a bronze tier pearl, but that ability's no joke, easily worth over 2 million on the market. He paused for a moment, weighing his options, then tossed the pearl to Shen Gue. Your wolf type and our main scout. Stealth suits you perfectly. Shen Gue caught it with trembling hands. He knew what it meant. Lin, bro, this thing's worth a fortune. I'll wire the team the full market value when we get out. Easily 2 million. Lin's eyes gleamed. Attaboy. Split 6 ways. That's 300K for me. Not bad at all. With no objections from the team, Shen Gue sat down and immediately absorbed the pearl. A faint pulse of spiritual energy spread as the stealth ability took root. Shen Gue activated the skill. His figure began to fade, slowly turning translucent. Not full invisibility, but you'd barely notice him unless you looked real hard. Lin's jaw dropped. Damn, this skill is cracked. He instantly regretted giving it away. I should have kept it. The ultimate peeping Tom skill. Images flooded his mind, pure chaos. Then it hit him. Wait, I haven't drawn today's skill yet. Before he even finished the sentence, the system chimed in. Ding. Congratulations. New skill acquired. Physical enhancement. Lin froze. That name triggered a flashback. Oh no, not again. Boom. His clothes exploded into shreds. Right on cue. Thankfully, this time, the angry bird didn't make a surprise appearance. Some dignity remained. As he dashed to the woods to change, he opened his status screen out of habit. To his shock, after stacking the skill 3 times, his combat power had jumped to silver 6-star. When he returned, fully dressed, he stood by the group with a dumb grin on his face. Am I hot now or what? As everyone was settling in, Changmin suddenly called the group together, her face unusually serious. I've been feeling weird these past few days, so I used my sound wave radar again. And yeah, there are several people following us. Always around 800 to 900 meters back. Never too close, never losing sight. Qin Jinjin's expression darkened. My family warned me. There are rogue groups that hunt other adventurers inside ruins. Casualties inside ruins are common. If they're clean enough, no trace, no witnesses, then there's nothing to investigate. Everyone immediately understood. With terrain still wide open, the ambush was likely to come deeper in the forest. Seeing the worry on Qin Jinjin's face, Lin Xiao stepped beside her, gently patted her shoulder, and said softly, "Don't worry. If it comes to a fight, I'll protect you." Qin Jinjin blushed instantly, her heart racing. She quickly turned her head away, not daring to meet his eyes. The next morning, Lin was still half asleep when his system auto-triggered the daily skill draw. He hadn't even seen what he got yet when a high-pitched scream jolted him fully awake. He rushed out of the tent, only to find 2 massive red cobra-like serpents, baring their fangs and staring down the group with glowing crimson eyes. As soon as Lin Xiao laid eyes on the two serpents, the system automatically scanned their info. Rapid strike cobras, blistering speed, deadly venom, impossible to tame. Danger level, extremely high. Heads up, everyone. They're venomous. Don't let them bite you, he shouted. The group immediately went on full alert. But before they could even strategize, the cobras reared back and unleashed twin streams of venom. The toxic spray hissed as it hit the grass, burning it into a shriveled, yellow patch in seconds. Zhuang Cheng and Lei Dian exchanged a glance and instantly opened fire. Lightning bolts, ice spears, and fireballs rained down like they were free. Even though Qin Jinjin had a natural fear of snakes, she kept her cool and continued blasting. Her ice-based abilities were especially effective against hyperspeed targets. After a barrage of over 80 attacks, the two cobras finally collapsed with a thunderous thud. Their massive bodies lay sprawled like overturned trucks. Qin and Chengmin both shuddered at the sight. And of course, the glorious duty of corpse looting fell to one person, Lin Xiao. As he cautiously approached, he confirmed both snakes were dead, but one of them had a swollen belly, and something inside it was still squirming. Eyes narrowing, Lin pulled out a fruit knife from his storage pouch and carefully sliced open the snake's belly. And then, surprise, a fluffy little groundhog popped out of the cobra's belly. This tiny thing had somehow survived inside a venomous serpent for 81 freaking days. Ultimate Survival Pro. The moment it jumped out, it leapt onto Lin Xiao's chest without hesitation, rubbing its face on him in pure gratitude. So cute that Qin Jinjin and Cheng Min couldn't help but squeal with delight. But then it looked up, locked eyes with Qin Jinjin, and with a squeak, launched itself straight into her arms. She caught it midair and hugged it tight, her face glowing with affection. Lin Xiao sulked on the side, grumbling as he turned back to loot the snake corpse. TCH, girls and fluffy creatures figures. But luck was definitely on their side. Each snake had dropped a spirit pearl. The groundhog noticed everything and began squeaking excitedly, waving its tiny paws at Lin Xiao. It suddenly leapt back from Qin Jinjin's arms and landed next to Lin. Then it started chirping in a strange, bird-like voice while spinning in place and waving its arms wildly, clearly trying to say, "Let's trade. I got a deal for you." Lin Xiao narrowed his eyes skeptically. "You want to trade with me? What could you possibly offer?" The little groundhog puffed up, clearly offended. With a sharp squeak, it lunged forward, snatched Lin's spirit pearl, and bolted. "Hey, get back here, you furry thief!" Lin shouted, just about to give chase, when suddenly, the groundhog turned and let out a string of loud, high-pitched chirps toward the grassy field. Then, boom, dozens of groundhogs erupted from underground like furry landmines. Every single one of them waddled up to Lin in a perfect little parade. One by one, they coughed up 2 or 3 spirit pearls at his feet, then scurried behind the little groundhog and stood in line, all neat and orderly. Within minutes, a small mountain of spirit pearls had formed in front of Lin Xiao. Lin's face twitched. "Wait, are these for me?" The groundhog beamed and nodded, chirping out happy heya heya sounds. After a quick count, 213 pearls. All bronze tier, all rare earth-refined spirit types. Not a single earth element pearl, though. Lin figured this little guy had probably absorbed them all already. Standing before the glittering pile, Lin Xiao was speechless. One thought echoed in his mind. Did I just hit the motherlode? Lin Xiao casually tossed 4 fire element spirit pearls to Zhuang Cheng. "Pick one you like." Zhuang didn't hesitate. He grabbed the one with the fireball max skill and returned the rest. The others weren't as lucky. None of the remaining pearls matched their abilities. After some discussion, they all agreed Lin should keep the rest. Qin Jinjin chuckled. "We're not short on cash, and bronze tier pearls aren't that appealing to us." Lin, on the other hand, looked at the pile with pure dollar signs in his eyes. "Man, this is what happiness looks like." Still, the group advised him, sell the empty pearls for cash and absorb the ones rich in energy to level up faster. Taking their advice, Lin picked one and absorbed it on the spot. The next second, click, a surge of energy burst through his body, and just like that, he broke through to bronze tier level 3. The speed of his breakthrough stunned the rest of the group. Are these pearls supercharged or something? In reality, Lin had been right on the edge for weeks. That pearl just gave him a nudge across the finish line. Qin Jinjin smiled warmly as she cuddled the groundhog. After stashing away the remaining pearls, the group continued deeper into the forest. Meanwhile, Lin Xiao stayed behind a bit, whispering with the Groundhog clan, secretly forming a little plan. Lin Xiao quietly instructed his underground army to follow in secret. They would be the key to his ambush plan. Meanwhile, not far away, the Wolf Fang squad was crouched in the tall grass, eyes locked on their target. As Lin's team approached the forest edge, one impatient silver-ranked member shifted excitedly, itching to make a move. But Yang Hu reached out and stopped him with a firm grip. "Not yet," he said coldly. "Wait until they settle in. When they drop their guard to rest, that's when we strike." By dusk, Lin's group finally stepped into the forest. While the others began setting up camp, Lin quietly slipped away with his groundhog allies. After surveying the terrain, he knelt down and gave the squad their orders. "Dig a ring of traps around our camp. Work quietly. We don't want them noticing a thing." The little critters nodded and scurried off. Within moments, sharp wooden stakes were being neatly planted in the freshly dug pits. Lin reached into his dimensional pouch and pulled out a small vial, containing venom he'd harvested from the 2 rapid strike cobras. Carefully, he dipped a brush and spread the deadly toxin over each sharpened stake. The venom glistened faintly, oozing danger. Before leaving, he gently patted the head of one little groundhog and whispered, "Don't touch the poison, okay? One drop and it's over. I'm heading out. If fate allows, we'll meet again, and please, no more snake bellies." Back at camp, Qin Jinjin immediately gathered everyone. Chungmin shared the latest from her sound surveillance. "They're close. Less than 500 meters from here." She lowered her voice, face pale. "I can hear them talking clearly. They're planning to strike at midnight." Lin Xiao glanced around. Everyone looked on edge, nervous, tense. The pressure was starting to show. He quickly rallied the team, his voice calm but firm. "I know you're all feeling it, but now is not the time to panic. We're not fighting on a safe arena anymore. These aren't sparring partners, they're killers. This is the spirit ruins. Out here, if you die, no one's held responsible." Then came the strategy, laid out swiftly and clearly. "Shingue, your top priority is protecting Zhang San and Chungmin. They're our weakest in combat. They'll be targeted first." Qin Jinjin's eyes widened. She realized with a pang that this was the kind of leadership she should have stepped up with, but didn't. She watched as Lin Xiao moved through the team with sharp focus, assigning roles, predicting threats, calm, composed, in total control. A swirl of emotions stirred in her chest. Admiration, gratitude, and a quiet, unspoken shame. Just then, Lin Xiao turned to Qin Jinjin with a cheeky grin. "If you're scared, my chest is always open for you. Want to test it out now?" He expected a smack or a glare, but instead, she calmly nodded. "Then I'll take you up on that." Lin froze. His smug smile melted into stunned silence. Around midnight, the Wolf Fang squad made their move under cover of darkness. Following Yang Hu's orders, they spread out in 4 directions, stealthily surrounding the camp. The northern flank was led by Fong 2 and Fong 7, who crept forward while joking quietly. "Seriously, the boss is overreacting. A few rookies? We could handle this in our sleep." Then shink, a bone-chilling scream sliced through the night. Fong 7 fell straight into a trap. A poison spike pierced clean through his chest, dead before he even hit the ground. Yang Hu, approaching from another direction, nearly stepped into a similar trap. He froze, cold sweat pouring down his back. His expression darkened. "Fall back. These bastards were ready for us." Yang Hu did a quick head count, and his face went pale. They hadn't even started fighting, and already 2 were dead, with another seriously wounded. Meanwhile, Lin Xiao and the others stepped calmly out of their tents, eyes cold, expressions sharp as blades. Yang Hu roared, livid. I've hunted in this hellhole for years. Never thought I'd be outplayed by a bunch of kids. You're gonna die screaming. Lin Xiao smirked. You sure about that? Let's see who dies first. Before he even finished speaking, Zhuang Cheng unleashed a massive fireball max, lighting up the camp like a second sunrise. Yang Hu's instincts kicked in. Retreat. Pull back now. But before his men could move, Qin Jinjin's rapid cast control spell struck the ground with a sharp crack. A wave of distortion rippled through the air. 3 enemies froze mid-step, their bodies dragging like they were stuck in tar. In mere seconds, 4 of the wolf fangs were down. The ambush had turned into a rout. Realizing there was no turning back, Yang Hu and his 2 remaining silver-ranked teammates unleashed their full power. Their overwhelming aura crashed through the forest like a tidal wave. Qin Jinjin frowned. 3 silver ranks, this just got way harder. But Lin Xiao didn't flinch. Why we sound like the bad guys here? For the record, this is self-defense, okay? Qin Jinjin gritted her teeth and charged toward Yang Hu without hesitation. Even knowing the gap in strength, she wasn't going to back down. Lin Xiao reached out and patted her shoulder, flashing a cocky grin. Relax. You've got me, your dashing bunny knight. Qin Jinjin blushed, scoffing, as if I'd need you. With that, she turned and leapt forward, ice blade slicing through the air as she engaged Yang Hu head-on. Lin Xiao snapped into command mode. Zhang San, take cover now. Everyone else, protect him at all costs. Meanwhile, Feng Tu stepped forward, sneering. A measly bronze 4 dares challenge me? What a joke. He lifted his hand, and with a howl of wind, cast Tornado Slash, a swirling storm rushing straight for Lin Xiao. The wind howled, sand and debris flying as a violent vortex barreled toward Lin Xiao. But he didn't even flinch. With a calm stomp, any door activate. In the blink of an eye, he reappeared right next to Feng Tu and swung his alloy bat without mercy. Express delivery to the afterlife, now boarding. Feng Tu didn't even finish his trash talk before he coughed blood and crumpled to the ground, completely KO'd. Meanwhile, Qin Jinjin was in trouble. Yang Hu was closing in fast, his strikes sharp and relentless. Her icy blade trembled. Her defense was falling apart. Lin Xiao didn't hesitate. He charged forward, alloy bat in hand. Yang Hu had just started grinning, thinking the fight was over, when a chill ran down his spine. His instinct screamed. He rolled instinctively, dodging Lin Xiao's ambush attack by a hair's breadth. Lin Xiao clicked his tongue. TSK. I was really hoping to bonk your head like a gong. Guess this tiger's got sharp senses. But when Yang Hu turned to assess the battlefield and saw his elite teammates down for the count, his jaw dropped. What the hell? Bronze ranks are built like monsters now. Before Yang Hu could react, Lin Xiao grinned wickedly and twirled his alloy bat in flashy arcs, aiming directly at Yang Hu's lower body with deadly precision. Yang Hu's eyes bulged as he dodged back in panic. What the hell? These kids don't fight fair anymore. You try to neuter me. Regaining his composure, he snarled. You think I'm just a kiddie? Watch what happens when a tiger gets serious. With a guttural roar, Yang Hu's muscles swelled, claws extended like blades. His beast form fully unleashed. With both claws glowing, he lunged at Lin Xiao. Lin Xiao raised his bat in a hurry to block. Bang! The collision sent him flying several meters before crashing and rolling along the ground. Coughing, Lin Xiao grimaced. Damn, that power spike's no joke. He's stronger than me now. Seeing an opening, Yang Hu pushed off the ground and charged again, faster and fiercer. His claws slashed through the air like a storm of blades, each swing radiating deadly intent. Lin Xiao gritted his teeth, barely fending off the relentless strikes. The sound of claw against metal echoed through the battlefield. He was clearly losing ground. But Yang Hu knew better than anyone, this burst mode wouldn't last. If he didn't finish Lin Xiao quickly, the tide would turn again. Gritting his teeth, he growled, screw it. Time to go all in. In the next instant, he spun, whipping out a 2-meter-long tiger tail that lashed through the air like a whip. Lin Xiao blinked, startled. Wait, that's your tail. Dude, for a second I thought you were swinging something unspeakable. He didn't even finish the joke before the tail slammed into him. Pain exploded across his body as he was launched into the air, nose bleeding, crashing down in a heap. One hit, and Lin Xiao finally realized what true silver rank power felt like. Goddamn, that wasn't for show. Coughing blood but eyes fierce, he shouted, "All right, gloves off. Time to drop the act. Any door." A swirling black vortex opened beside him, and he leapt in, grinning mid-jump. "You've had your fun, old tiger. My turn." In a flash, he appeared right behind Yang Hu, swinging his alloy bat with deadly force. Yang Hu reacted fast, instincts kicking in. He spun with his claws to counter the surprise attack. But Lin Xiao just smirked, bellowing, "Now? Hit him!" The moment Lin Xiao shouted, Lei Dian and the others launched their attacks. Wave after wave of powerful spirit techniques rained down like a divine storm. Sensing danger, Lin Xiao instantly used any door to blink away, vanishing on the spot. Yang Hu blinked in confusion. Huh? Where'd that rabbit go? He turned his head, only to see the heavens themselves collapsing on him. Spirit energy surged toward a single point right above him. Wait, he's a space type. Damn it. I've been baited into a trap. A deafening boom followed. A mushroom cloud of spirit energy erupted around Yang Hu, 10 meters wide. Lightning, flame, and fury scorched the land, reducing it to charred ruin. Lin Xiao strolled over and gave Qin Jinjin a thumbs up. Nice timing, Jinjin. That was perfect. But she didn't respond. She stood frozen, staring at Yang Hu's burned corpse, pale and trembling. Zhang Xin stepped forward, took one look, and immediately turned away, gagging. Lin Xiao's expression softened. He gently patted Qin Jinjin on the back. I get it. It's your first time taking a life. But out here, if we don't kill them, they'll kill us. I don't regret it, and you shouldn't either. Scum like them deserved it. If we'd hesitated, it might have been one of us lying there instead. The others nodded solemnly. Their shock slowly faded, replaced by quiet resolve. They weren't murderers. They were survivors, protecting each other. The battle just now had been loud. Loud enough to alert nearby adventurers and spirit beasts. Realizing it wasn't safe to linger, Lin Xiao led the team to quickly pack up and head deeper into the forest. The clash with the Wolfpack squad had thrown off their rest schedule, so they found a more hidden location to set up camp again. To prevent night attacks from spirit beasts, they agreed to take turns on watch. Lin Xiao felt surprisingly energetic. His strength had recovered thanks to a few healing spells from Zhang San, so he volunteered to take the first watch. He was about to ask Zhang San to stay up with him, and Zhang San had just nodded. But before he could say yes, Qin Jinjin stopped him with a firm hand on the shoulder. Go get some rest. I'll keep watch. She turned to Lin Xiao, her voice gentle. Besides, I have something I want to say to him. Zhang San paused, then let out a knowing chuckle. Say no more. Without another word, he disappeared into his tent. Lin Xiao had no objections, of course. He was already inwardly celebrating. Keeping watch with a beauty? Way better than sharing the night with a snoring blob. The night breeze rustled gently. They sat side by the fire, the silence between them wrapped in flickering amber light. Lin Xiao was just about to start conversation when a faint scent drifted over, light fresh like gardenias soaked in sunlight. It was coming from Qin Jinjin, and it stirred something in his chest. That soft fragrance lingering in the air made Lin Xiao feel strangely at ease. Still, he couldn't help wondering to himself, what does Jinjin really want to talk about? Qin Jinjin quietly gazed at him. There was something about Lin Xiao's face, ordinary yet warm, that made her zone out for a second, unsure how to begin. In the end, Lin Xiao broke the silence first, flashing a playful smile. Hey, don't stare at me like that. I get shy, you know. But Qin Jinjin's reply caught him off guard. Her voice was soft, but serious. I mean it. Today, when everyone was panicking, you stood up, calmed us down, gave clear orders, and led us to take down that terrifying Wolfpack squad. At that moment, I thought you looked really cool. Lin Xiao was stunned. He never expected her words, so sincere, to make his heart skip like this. Without thinking, he gently reached out and held her hand. Staring into her eyes, he asked with unusual seriousness, "Jinjin, do you have a boyfriend?" Qin Jinjin was completely caught off guard. Her cheeks flushed a deep pink. Under the heat of his gaze, she instinctively turned away, pulling back a bit. Why do you ask something like that? She brushed it off with a casual tone, but still mumbled under her breath. Honestly, I don't ask for much in a partner. Just someone who's better than me, in every way. Lin Xiao's face lit up bright red. He scratched the back of his head and gave a sheepish grin. Wait a second. Does that mean you've had your eye on me all along? Keep dreaming. Qin Jinjin shot him a glare. With confidence like that, you might float away any second now. Lin Xiao puffed up proudly. Think about it. Academically, I'm ahead. Power-wise, I've got a slight edge. And cooking? You were drooling over my scrambled eggs. Be honest. Don't I check off every box of your dream boyfriend list? Qin Jinjin was momentarily stunned, then snorted, Fine, maybe you're slightly ahead in strength. But when it comes to grades, I'm not backing down. Her eyes sparked with determination. Once the college entrance scores are out, we'll see who's #1 in the city. Lin Xiao's eyes gleamed. All right then, if I win again, does that mean you'll finally agree to be my girlfriend? Qin Jinjin's face turned crimson. She glared at him. In your dreams, buddy. Lin Xiao might have sounded like he was flirting, but deep down, he wasn't really expecting anything. He just wanted to cheer her up after the battle. And if his teasing actually worked, well, that's a bonus. When Lei Jian came out to take over the shift, Qin Jinjin stormed off, cheeks puffed out in frustration, but her light steps betrayed how flustered she really was. The next morning, the sun rose high and bright, bathing the world in golden light. Lin Xiao was still half asleep in his tent, eyes barely open. The system couldn't wait another second. Ding. Congratulations, host. You've received an S-rank skill. Spiritual Energy Boost. Lin Xiao blinked at the system panel, totally lost. Spiritual Energy Boost. What's that supposed to mean? Before he could figure out, his stats started skyrocketing, straight to bronze 5-star. He hadn't even fully woken up yet, and boom, power breakthrough complete. Whoa, is this skill broken or what? His eyes lit up with greedy ambition. Hey system, how about a little upgrade to silver? Maybe even gold. The system instantly shut him down. Luck quota exceeded. Greedy request denied. Try again tomorrow. When he finally stepped out of the tent, Zhang San was casually chopping vegetables while humming a tune. Vibes totally chill. But the moment he saw Lin Xiao radiating with spiritual power like a walking nuclear core, his hand slipped in excitement, slice, and he chopped right into his own finger. Everyone else was speechless. This guy really just risked his life making breakfast. Cheng Min rushed over to bandage him up, muttering under her breath, Your meat smells kind of sour. Maybe don't toss yourself into the stew. Seeing the real deal bronze 5-star aura radiating off Lin Xiao, Zhang San almost broke down. Bro, have a heart. It's only been a few days and you level up like it's daily cardio? How are the rest of us supposed to survive? Qin Jinjin and the others stood frozen, completely dumbfounded. Lin Xiao shrugged casually. Yesterday's battle gave me some insight. Breakthrough just happened. Just then, Cheng Min's expression changed sharply. She looked up, alert. Get ready. There's a huge pack of spirit beasts charging right at us. They're fast, like something's chasing them. Before she even finished, a few adventurers came sprinting into view, looking like they were running for their lives, with a massive dark swarm hot on their heels. Lin Xiao squinted and saw clearly. It was a horde of monkey-like spirit beasts. A system notification flashed through his mind. Spectre apes, pack hunters, extremely aggressive, nearly impossible to tame. Also, highly inappropriate behavior patterns. Oh hell no. Lin Xiao's face dropped. Run. It's a pack of spectre apes. And if you're a girl, don't get caught. He didn't even finish his warning. Qin Jinjin and Cheng Min turned pale and bolted like rockets. It was a full-speed sprint with afterimages. The rest of the team didn't waste a second and followed suit at full throttle. Zhang San was running and wailing at the same time. Lin Xiao, there's a sea of them. I'm about to collapse. Lin Xiao glanced back, and his heart sank. The team was clearly running out of steam, while the Spectre apes were gaining fast. Suddenly, Lei Jian let out a battle cry. Screw it. I'm going in. And just like that, he turned and charged straight into the horde. His move lit a fire in everyone. Qin Jinjin locked eyes with Lin Xiao, her voice firm. Lin Xiao, I need you to promise me something. If we can't make it out, I'd rather die by your hand than fall into theirs. Chengmin nodded solemnly beside her. Me too. Lin Xiao clenched his fists. No one's dying today. I'll protect you all, no matter what. Without hesitation, he pulled out his alloy staff and threw himself into the swarm, using his body to hold back the first wave and buy his teammates a few precious seconds. His staff became a blur, knocking down beast after beast like a whirlwind of steel. But just when he thought they had a chance, one particularly flashy Spectre ape, face painted but stripes and all, let out a shriek. Clearly the leader. Suddenly, a few apes broke formation and slipped past Lin Xiao, racing straight for Qin Jinjin and the others. Just as the team was about to be completely surrounded, Lin Xiao blinked back in a flash, throwing himself in front of the group to block the incoming wave. He roared and swung his staff with all his strength, sending another pack of Spectre apes flying. But before he could catch his breath, one snuck in from behind. Its claws tore into his back, blood instantly soaking through his clothes. Lin Xiao grit his teeth and prepared to counter, but Qin Jinjin shouted, Lin Xiao, move. My skill's ready. In the next instant, a triple-element blast of ice, fire, and lightning exploded across the battlefield. It was like nature itself went berserk. The entire horde was obliterated. Some that might have escaped were frozen and shattered in sheer panic. Just as the group started to relax, Chengmin's face went pale again. Hold on. I sensed another huge wave of spirit beasts coming. As soon as she said it, a golden, towering figure appeared on the distant plains. Another Spectre ape, even more intimidating than the last. Its aura was suffocating, and behind it came an endless tide of fresh beasts, all charging toward them like a living tsunami. Everyone's face fell, except for Lin Xiao and Qin Jinjin. The rest barely had 20% of their energy back. This wasn't the time for another fight. Was this where their story ends? Chengmin was shaking like a leaf, her face pale with fear. I haven't even been in a relationship yet. I don't want to die. Zhang Xin glanced at her panicked face, then suddenly looked up with resolve. Don't worry, Min. I won't let anything happen to you. With that, he whipped out his phone. His chubby fingers flew across the screen like lightning. Then he held the phone high and yelled, Big Nick Zhao, time to deploy. As if summoned by fate, a 2-meter-tall man in a sleek black suit dropped from the sky, landing with a dramatic puff of smoke. With a cigar in his mouth and murder in his eyes, he oozed gangster vibes. Young master, no worries. Zhao the Fourth is here. Zhao took a puff and exhaled coolly. You just chill. I'll deal with the monkey squad. As he spoke, he started casually stripping off his suit jacket. These little apes? Barely enough to floss with. His aura exploded. Muscles bulged. Fur erupted from his skin, and his transformation began. The pressure in the air skyrocketed. A beast had awoken. Lin Xiao stared wide-eyed. Holy crap, that power. He's gold-ranked. Zhang Xin scratched his head and grinned. Can't go on an adventure without a secret weapon. He's my family's personal gold-ranked bodyguard. Zhao the Fourth let out a beastly roar and charged into the Spectre apes like a living tank, flattening everything in his path. The apes were completely caught off guard, total chaos. Realizing things were spiraling out of control, the Golden Ape leader finally stepped up, swaggering forward and roaring at Zhao in defiance. Zhao didn't even blink. He lunged forward and grabbed the ape's arm like it was nothing. Then, just like that, he started smashing it into the ground like a rag doll. It was straight out of the Hulk versus Loki playbook. The earth shook. Trees trembled. Total devastation. The other apes froze mid-step. Holy crap! He turned the boss into mashed bananas. Abort! Run for your lives! With a casual toss, Zhao flung the mangled leader back into its crew, creating a massive crater on impact. The rest didn't stick around. They bolted in every direction like their lives depended on it. And they absolutely did. Zhao didn't even bother chasing them. He just stood tall, hands on his hips, let out a victorious roar toward the sky. Alpha energy, maximum. Everyone stood in stunned silence, staring at Zhao's fading silhouette. It was Lin Xiao's first time witnessing a true gold-rank powerhouse. He whispered, almost to himself, "So, this is the strength of a gold tier. Unreal." Zhao IV turned back toward Zhang San. "Young master, mission complete. I'll take my leave." Without waiting for a reply, he lit a thick custom cigar, took one deep drag, and vanished into the woods in a single leap. Only then did Chung Min finally exhale in relief. Seeing everyone safe and sound, she couldn't help but ask, "Wait, has Zhao been following us this whole time?" Zhang San nodded, a little sheepish. "Yeah, at first, it wasn't just him. Our families teamed up to send people to watch over us in secret. But later, we figured Zhao alone was enough. I'm sorry. I was the only one who knew." Instead of blaming him, the group looked genuinely grateful. Lei Jian stepped forward and clapped Zhang San on the shoulder. "I get it, man. Honestly, if we'd known someone had our backs, we might not have gone all in like that." As he spoke, his aura suddenly surged. With a thunderous blast, boom, Lei Jian broke through on the spot, reaching Bronze 9-star. The shockwave sparked something in Chungmin too. Her energy flared, and in a flash, she hit Bronze 9-star as well. Watching everyone hit new power levels, Lin Xiao got a little jealous. "Man, is today some kind of level-up festival? All right then, my turn." He whipped out a spirit orb and began absorbing it. Energy surged into his body, warm currents swirling toward his core. Just when he thought he was about to level up, PFFT, a small noise echoed out, and the energy got pushed right back out. Lin Xiao blinked. "Wait, did I just fart spiritual energy?" The system popped up with a deadpan message. "Host just broke through to Bronze 5-star. Trying again already? You think you're some kind of balloon?" While everyone else was out there ascending, Lin Xiao stood there, awkward and spiritually constipated. The scene was tragic and hilarious. But soon, something caught his eye, the corpses of those specter apes. He went over to loot, and sure enough, inside the ape leader, he found a massive silver orb. The skill? A rare sound type called Lion Roar Blast. Lin Xiao squinted at it. No wonder that ape was so cranky, probably got yelled at all the time. He glanced at Zhang San, then back at the orb, and suddenly, inspiration struck. Without a word, he shoved the orb into Zhang San's hands. "Chubby bro, this is as far as I can take you." Zhang San looked confused. Lin Xiao leaned in with a wink, whispering, "You like Min Min, right? Gift it to her. Call a gesture of goodwill. Might score you some points." Zhang San's round face lit up like a tomato, and his imagination took off, complete with wedding bells and happily ever after fantasies.